Hi friends, welcome to Aisha's DIY. This is a necklace that I have designed. It's a custom order from my friend, and this is a beautiful necklace. I have these connectors which I bought from India. These are like square connectors. I have oval connectors and I have round connectors. This is in the peach color. Peach color is the Pantone color of the year. So this is very pretty, perfect on the dot kind of a thing. So I had these from my stash, and then I decided to make use of this as, like, a pendant on the side rather than in the center. This was my for my friend's mom, and since she's an older person, she didn't prefer any pendants, so I want to keep this on the side so that when she wears, it'll come on the side and it'll show and it'll be very pretty. So it is a two-strand necklace, of course, and as you guys can see, there are spaces in between in the back all over, so that you can string through. So what I did here was, as you guys can see, there is two holes, long holes, pretty long holes, but as you can see, there is a small seed beads. These are milk seed beads, they will call, and they have attached it to the pendant. So what I did was I added a small seed bead, which is transparent color, like lemon seed bead here, just before the pendant, because just to give it space. It doesn't actually, I don't want it to actually show, but at the same time, if I put the pearl, it didn't sit right. So I added just one lemon seed bead before and after. I wish I could have added it in the over here as well, but nevertheless it looks pretty because it is also a gold color wire. I used bead stringing wire. This is the one that I used. It's 0.45 millimeter thickness, and I strung the beads. Okay, and this is how it is, right? It is gonna move a little bit, but it is gonna retain its shape. So I kept it in the U form, wherein I always like to keep it that way, so that you know for sure how you wear it. So I added one at the end as well, and then continued stringing. That's all I did here. The pendant is a star, so I want to showcase it. And this pearl beads is very nice. These are 4 millimeter pearl beads. These are glass pearls from Michaels. It's not freshwater pearl, but it has that shine to it, which makes it perfect for this. And then I have pulled out a lobster claw clasp and two split rings. These are not jump rings, these are split rings. As you guys know, we need to connect, either we can connect it with a two-strand connector, but it is going to be at the back, so you don't really have to have the two-strand connector. And I'm just going to use a split ring, and I'm going to show you guys how to finish a double strand necklace with a split ring instead of a two-strand connector. Two-strand connectors normally come, but they tarnish as well. This one can be pretty inexpensive, so this one can be replaced also if you want it to be. And also the two-strand connector, I have had very bad experience closing and opening, so I like to always work with some connectors, or earring connectors or something like that. Because my friend wanted it to be simple, I didn't use the connectors, which might be decorative and really nice to work with, which I would prefer normally. But since I wanted it to keep it simple, I want to show you guys how to finish this with that. So here, if you can see, there is not much of a distance. I kept the distance minimum, probably half an inch or so maximum is the difference, because as you guys can see, this can come pretty close. So at that point of time, I don't want a long variation between these two strands. This is all I want the distance to be. So now we will finish this end first and then come back to this end. And here I have put the strand in with a bead stopper, so that I know for sure exactly where my strand will get done when I'm finished. So now let's talk about crimp beads or crimp tubes. You can use crimp tubes or crimp beads, whichever you want to, because this is a lighter color bead. It doesn't matter, but use a smaller crimp tube. If you're using crimp tube, use size 1. If you're using crimp bead, you can go up till size 1 or size 2 is fine. I'm gonna take off one and keep one in the bead stopper. Take a crimp tube. Add it to this. Okay, and then go through the split ring and then come back through the crimp tube. You can also add 2 crimp tubes if you want to. I'm trying to put through one of the pearl bead at least. Take your pliers. Use your needle nose or tweezer nose pliers to actually get a hold of that short tail. To pull. That's enough. We are going to adjust the length on the other side. You can flat crimp it or you can use a crimping pliers. I am just going to flat crimp it. That's one strand connected. Now the other strand. I'm removing my bead stopper and add this to one, and then add it to the split ring and go back through the crimp tube. Through the bead and pull this all the way down. So when you do this, you have already crimped the other one, and make sure they are not very different. The loops are almost the same, which it is. So that's secure right here. So you can also snip off this short tail, leave it at that point. We have connected these two. Okay, now just going through second bead as well, just making sure it sits nicely and not, abruptly, and pull all these beads down over here. See that? That's what I don't want it. I don't want it to turn that much. Push all the beads here. Take your time, take the tail and go through a couple of beads. Don't leave a gap right there. Push all the beads, push the pendant through and through. Make sure everything is nice and proper right there. Once you have that right, then try to push all the beads from this side. There will be a slack. There is. Okay. So what I like to do is take this, take my pliers or so, just leave it like that so that it doesn't constantly shift. get something a little heavy, and if you hold it like this, it's easier. So I pushed all the beads down. I just kept that one right there. It's gonna shift, but I have a solution for that. And check the distance between these beads. So more than this, I just want to make sure these two are aligned properly and the gap is nice and easy for me. So again, first always finish the smaller one, the inner circle first, and then go for the outer one. That's what I recommend. It's always a good tactics to do that, because and also I always have extra wire in the outer. If it needs be, I wanted it to become bigger or something, then I can do it. So add the split ring, the crimp tube, and then come back, go through your bead just like that. I mean, you can use your pliers, and this time be careful, because that time we don't worry about the slack and everything in the entire necklace, but this time you need to worry, because this is going to be this is it, right? We are done. So make sure there is no gap, everything looks good. There is a small gap here, so go ahead and push the bead down, the crimp tube or the crimp bead down, hold the split ring and again pull it, and then go ahead and crimp it. So I crimped it, then I'm gonna cut off the excess wire as close to the bead as possible. Okay, try to insert that short tail inside as well. So that's one. Okay, that's done. So now we are going to do the other one too. So take it again and add a crimp tube. Okay, so make sure you add this and then come down, go through a bead or two, okay, and then pull all the slack, hold your split ring and again pull, push the crimp tube down and again pull. Once you pull that, leave it right there, and once again check, keep it in a U shape, the shape that you wanted it to be at the end. Make sure it's fine, and then make sure the distance is also fine. Now I have a nice one, I guess. So oops, I dropped my pliers, my favorite pliers. So again, push that, pull this. Once we are happy with the loop, okay, and then go ahead and crimp it. Snip off the excess wire. So this one I can save it as a needle for some other projects. I will just fold this into half, and I'll use this to thread elastic bracelets in it. So this short tail, it's a little bit big. If I should have gotten it a little bit closer is what I feel. Try to snip it and just push the end through. So now that's done. See that? So we have two of the split rings over here. Now you can connect a jump ring to here and a jump ring over there. So I'm gonna take some jump ring. You can also do an adjustable chain in the back if you want to. That's also a possibility. But instead of a jump ring, I would want to do my own wire thing. So what I do is a figure 8. I will cut about, say, 2 centimeters of this. Okay, and take my round nose pliers, and you can also use step looping pliers for this, but I like to use my round nose pliers. Make a small loop, take the other end, make a bigger loop, make like a figure 8 pattern, just like this. Okay, make sure that this is nice and rounded, and that's what I want. So this is 20 gauge wire that I used, and then this is much safer than a jump ring. I always get worried with the jump ring. So I open this and connect it to the lobster claw. Open the other end. This is permanent premium quality tarnish resistant wire from Parawire, so it's a very good quality. And then I add this to this. Okay, and then close it. Okay, that's that. Again, I'm gonna add again. I'm gonna make one more. This time I would take 3 centimeters of wire. Always flush cut the ends. This is the flush side and this is the tapering side, so always flush cut the ends. I'll show you guys how to use a step looping pliers to do the same figure 8 pattern. This is the step looping pliers. The smallest loop is the one that I'm going to take first. So when you keep the wire here, you should not feel it on the top. Make sure of that. Make a P. Don't straighten your loop like normally you would. Just leave it like that. Make sure it's completely closed, and then take the fourth largest. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. I think fourth largest should be good enough. Maybe fifth largest. Let's try. So it's not enough, as you guys can see. Then you can go one step lower, and then connect it. That's a figure 8 pattern. In that one is a skinnier one, this one is a little bit fatter one, because as you guys know, you want a little bit bigger one to attach in the back. You don't want that to be small. So open the small loop and make sure this too is proper, and add it to the split ring. Okay, and open the other end, and then make sure it's completely closed, and that's gonna be your connector for your lobster claw, right? So that way your necklace will stay really nice and flat to the surface, and then it is in the back and it will perfectly come without any problems or issues. How beautiful is that? I hope you guys like this tutorial. If you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification. I do upload videos couple of times a week. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day. If you would like to support my channel, do check out the Etsy shop in the description box below, and also there is a heart symbol, heart sign in the bottom. You can click on it and donate how much ever you want, $2 to all the way, how much ever your heart feels like. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.